What is going on, YouTube? Today we're back with a team review. I'm starting with the Kansas City Chiefs, and I'm going to work my way through all 32 teams before the season starts, get some playoff predictions, get some Super Bowl predictions. But right now we're starting with grand level, team specific, every position, head coach. I shouldn't say every position. We're kind of wrapping up defense into one position. But if you guys like that type of stuff and want to see all these videos, please drop a like on this, drop a comment, and follow for sure. I'm also going to be doing a bunch of fantasy football content as well. So if you are interested in that, drop a follow. So let's get right into it with the Chiefs. We're going to start with head coach Andy Reid. I give this a 10 out of 10. We're going to rank this on like a kind of numerical scale, out of 10 for everything, but I am weighting head coach, quarterback, and defense more than other positions because I feel like they matter the most. So Andy Reid, in my eyes, is the most creative playmaker in the game. I mean, the things that this dude comes up with, those like underhand shuttle passes in front of the goal line to Travis Kelce or Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I mean, it's some of the most unique play calling I've seen in quite some time, and I feel like with losing Tyreek Hill, they're going to have to really spice it up, We already saw last year how they kind of dropped Tyreek's A-dot completely and didn't use him as much of a deep threat anymore. A lot of that had to do with his ankle injury that he had at the end of the year. But I really see this year, with all the new people they brought in, like a completely new offense. We already saw Mahomes have to play a lot smarter, a lot less, hero ball last year. And I think we're going to even accentuate that more with Andy Reid. So I give him a 10 out of 10. That brings us to Mahomes. Obviously a 10 out of 10. I mean, he's the best quarterback in the league. In my eyes, it's not even close. Yes, you could say Aaron Rodgers back-to-back MVP. I mean, I'm a Packers fan, but I got to say, Mahomes gets it done in the playoffs. Usually, of course, last year he really, really choked that one away. I thought they were winning the Super Bowl for sure. But Mahomes is still that guy. 4 years in a row, 4 AFC championships, 2 Super Bowl appearances, one of them winning. I mean, the dude had a 5,000-yard season with 50 touchdowns. I wouldn't be surprised if he does something similar this year. While people are thinking he's down and out, people are hating him for the interceptions he had last year, even though they were all in the first 8 weeks. I don't know what it is, but people want Mahomes to fail so badly, and he's not going to. So he's a 10 out of 10. Moving on to running back, it's pretty interesting actually because the starter in my eyes, Clyde, is probably the worst running back on that team. He may be the most well-rounded, but he's not excellent at anything. We've seen for years now that he is not very good at really anything. I think that Rojo that they brought in is going to be a much better pure runner for this team. I think that he needs to be the early down back for sure. He's bigger, stronger, faster on the breakaway. So yeah, I think he needs to be the guy that they hand the ball off to on 3rd and 1s. And then Jerick McKinnon, I mean, we see him in the playoffs, and he's actually a spark plug. I've always known he's talented back to the Minnesota days. Then he goes to San Fran, tears his ACL. We never even get to see him. I mean, he would have probably been amazing in that Kyle Shanahan offense. And now with Andy Reid, I wouldn't be surprised if Andy Reid makes McKinnon the pass down back, which he should. And maybe he could even be the full-time workhorse. Maybe not 25 to 30 touches a game, but 18 touches a game, Because he looked really damn good in those playoffs, much better than Clyde ever looked. So running backs, I'm giving them a 6 because they have decent depth here. Really, any of these guys can play, not the highest levels, but they all can kind of make up for what they do poorly, I'd say. And then we're going to move on to receivers, which is the position that, is really polarizing because now they have Juju Smith-Schuster, Marquez Valdes-Scantling. They still have Mecole Hardman. They bring in Justin Ross and Sky Moore through the draft. The way I look at it is, yes, they lose Tyreek. Obviously, Tyreek is a generational player. It hurts for sure. But they've never had a big slot receiver like Juju. MVS is much better than Mecole, Demarcus Robinson, Byron Pringle. He's a much better deep threat than all of those guys. All of those guys are either just speed or just the guys. They're Jags. Whereas I think Marquez is actually a talented receiver. He may have some drop issues, but I don't really care. I think with Mahomes, it's gonna be even better than with Rodgers. So the way I look at it is Juju's gonna have a phenomenal year, a phenomenal year. I see 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns. I mean, the last time this dude was healthy, he had 900 yards and 9 touchdowns with Big Ben, and that was when Big Ben literally couldn't throw the ball past 6 yards. He had over 90 catches. I think it was 97 catches. That's very in the range of possibilities this year. I don't see why that wouldn't happen. He's the big slot receiver they've always wanted. Him and Kelce are just going to dominate the middle of the field. But the real X factor of this team is going to be Sky Moore. If Sky Moore is anything like he was in college, if he's a very talented route runner, beats man all the time, I mean, this offense is going to be cooking, absolutely cooking. If he's not able to do that, then it's going to struggle a little bit. I think Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes will always figure it out. but I think Sky Moore is kind of that key piece where if he hits, this offense is just unstoppable. So receivers, I give a 7. I think they have the good deep threat, a potential good X receiver, and then the nice big slot receiver that I think is great. I mean, Juju had a 1,400-yard season with 7 TDs. The dude is obviously talented. He's 25. Now he's with the best quarterback in the NFL. All wheels up. Moving on to tight end, Travis Kelce, obviously 10 out of 10. In my eyes, George Kittle is the best tight end, but like Kelce's right there, so giving him the 10. The things he does for this offense, he's going to get 160 targets this year, like very, very easily. I would not be surprised if he leads the league in receiving yards. Obviously, that's very tough when you have Cooper Kupp and Justin Jefferson, but I could see Kelce getting 1,500 yards. They will have to use him a lot this year. I love him. He's going to be the core of this offense. It's just a 10 out of 10. Like, with Travis Kelce, what are we saying here? Offensive line is going to be really interesting because they were one of the top teams last year, like one of the absolute best offensive lines. They're ranked 9th right now coming to this year by Pro Football Focus. 9th is fine. They're kind of in that tier with the Packers and Dallas Cowboys where it's like they have the potential to be a top 5 offensive line. That's what PFF was saying. And I agree with that. Creed Humphrey came in, looks like arguably the best center in the NFL. Who knows? Centers kind of switch every year at who's the best, so we'll have to see if he keeps it up. But I do love the O-line. Patrick Mahomes is going to still do his 15-yard drop back, so O-line is like one of the lesser needs on this team because he's just able to create so much. He's probably the best scrambling quarterback in the league right now, behind the line of scrimmage, not obviously like Lamar after the line, but behind the line. So yeah, I'm really high on the offensive line. This offense in general is getting hated on way too much. I think they're the best in the division. But yeah, the last thing we need to talk about is defense. And the defense last year was interesting. I think it was 8th least points per game it allowed. So with Charvarius Ward and Honey Badger, it was pretty damn good throughout the end of the year. It was really bad at the start. They fixed a lot of holes towards the end. But those guys leaving, it definitely hurts, but I think both of them, like Charvarius Ward has never been good until last year, and even when he was in there last year, like Jamar Chase cooked the absolute shit out of him. Like people are saying he's really good because he stopped Diggs in the playoffs. Meanwhile, Chase literally dropped like 300 yards on him, so I don't think he's anything special. Honey Badger tends to get overrated recently. I've seen a lot of people talking about it, like Madden put him as the number 1 safety. I don't agree with that. Obviously, it's either Derwin or Kevin Byard. But those guys leaving, they bring in Justin Reed and George Karlaftis. Karlaftis was in the draft. I think first rounder, he's going to be sneaky good. I mean, there could be a real route where he's just a dominant pass rusher. They still have a great D-line. Behind that, though, the linebackers and secondary aren't anything special. So I did give this defense a 5.75. And as I said before, it's weighted more than like a tight end because I'm obviously encompassing the whole defense here. So it's going to be the Chiefs. It's going to be great offense and very mediocre defense. This is what we've seen for 5 years in a row now. And why would it stop now? Why are we all of a sudden thinking, yes, our division got tougher, but why is it going to just stop working for the Chiefs? Like, people think Tyreek Hill leaving literally makes the Chiefs a terrible team, which I totally disagree with. So when you average all these numbers up, put the weightings on that I have, you get a 9.43 out of 10 for the Kansas City Chiefs. So my predictions for the Chiefs are they win the division. I see like 12 wins in my mind. I have to actually like do every single game, like project it out and see what the actual total is. I'm not doing that until I finish every team here. But I think about 12 wins is pretty fair. And then I think, in my eyes, they are the favorite for the Super Bowl in the AFC. I know everyone wants the Bills. I know everyone loves like the Chargers now. But it's just they have so much more experience than anybody. They really do. So I'm going to say Chiefs go to the Super Bowl. I don't know if they win yet. We'll go through every other team and then we'll figure that all out. But if you guys do like these types of reviews, if you like these types of reviews, give me a follow, drop a comment, leave a like, and just tune in for the next video. I'll probably do Bills next, I'm thinking. Let me know in the comments what you guys want to see next, and I will catch you guys all in the next one. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Love you guys. Peace.